Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be working on a very simple CRUD operation using ASP.NET Core Web API for our backend, React.js for our frontend, and for database SQL Server Management Studio. Open your database, right click, new database, DB menu will be the name of our database. Click on OK. So go to your Visual Studio 2020 to click on create a new project. You want to select ASP.NET Core Web API. Click on next. Menu restaurant. Click on next. Click on create. Our database has been created, as you can see, and our project has also been created. Now let's open our Solution Explorer. Okay, now the next step would be go to your tools, and there's something called NuGet Package Manager. So select the second option. We need to install two things: Microsoft Design Okay, I'm sorry. You need to click on this browse, not installed. Okay, 278 stable installations. So let's check this and click on install. I accept. Okay, this thing is checked, so it's installed. Now let's install SQL Server. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, it's installed as well. Now on our Solution Explorer, you need to select this menu restaurant, the name of our web application. Right click, add a new folder. We're going to name it models. Inside models, add a new class named menu. So this menu class will have the fields that will be inside the database. Okay, so this will be like a table in the database. Okay, now right click on menu restaurant, add a class, and let's call it, you know what, let's actually add a folder instead of creating a class. Let's add a folder and let's call it data, and inside data we'll add a class named data context. Okay, now I'd like to copy paste few things inside data context. Just copy this, and I'm gonna explain. So first thing that you need to do will be you need to inherit data DB context. You are inheriting this DB context on our data context class, okay? And we're creating a constructor data context and passing these. And this is the most important. This menu. It means we have added a model named menu, and that's what it means, and it's a set, so it gets pluralized. Menus, okay? So if we had our table named sales or book, then we'd do db set of book and it would be books. Okay, let's save it. And inside menus we will be adding the fields in the database. So let's paste this. So we will be having ID, food name, food type, and food course. ID will be on GUID because it's a globally unique identifier. You can also use int. Okay, let's save this. Now let's go on our app settings JSON file. I'm gonna copy and paste my connection string here. So this means that the server name is dot, which means localhost, because I'm using localhost right now. As you can see, if you can, I've used dot. Okay, and make sure you check this trust server certificate. Okay, because this is true over here, and sometimes it doesn't work if you don't add this or check it over there on our SQL database. So trusted connection is true, multiple active result sets is true, and server is localhost, and the database name is db menu. Let's save it. This db menu is the one that we just created, this one. Okay, all right, now we can close this. And I'm sorry, this default connection, you can use any name you want, but it has to be same when we call this in program.cs file. So let's open this. Here we're going to add some connection codes. So let's copy this and make sure you paste it below add swagger Jane, not below this if loop. Okay, so this data context is the class that we used here, which is inheriting from db context, and this is building a service and creating connection with the database using, and the database is SQL Server. Okay, and this get connection string will get default connection, which is this default connection that we mentioned. If we had other name over here, we'd have to use that other name here itself. And let's save it. That's all. Now let's go to our solution explorer and let's right click and add a controller. Click on API. We will be coding everything from scratch, but I'll show you how I do it. Select API controller with actions using entity framework. This is going to scaffold everything. Okay. Also, it's going to pluralize from menu to menus. Okay, and that's how we use it. Okay, so using this scaffolding template, so the codes are generated automatically. If you run it now, it should be working, but before that we need to do the migration. Let's do that. So click on package manager console. If you can't see it here, go to tools and click on NuGet package manager and select this first option. Okay, so this is the .NET EF migrations. Add initial create can be anything that you name. I'd like to use initial create. Okay, it says build succeeded. Let's copy this. .NET EF database update. This will update our database. Alright, if you have any problem with generating a migration and if it gives you some sort of error, you can do something like this. Right click, and there is something called unload project. Click on unload project and reload again. That should fix your problem. Okay, now let's run this. We can actually get API endpoints using this scaffolded template, but I'd like to use dependency injection and use interface and repository pattern. So we'll go a little further. Okay, so this is get. Click on try it out. Click on execute. Okay, right now it's an empty array, but we're gonna post something and see if it's working or not. Click on post. Click on try it out, and it generated this GUID for us. So the field name will be AA. Everything will be AA. And let's click on execute down here. Let's add another record with 7. Okay, let's execute the get, and we can actually see the data that we just entered in JSON format. Sorry. And click on new query. So if this DB menu is not selected, you can select it from here, or you can do use DB menu. Okay, this should now so as you can see, if you click on select asterisk from menus, you will be able to see these. So if you are wondering how these menus came up, it's because it generated SQL script for us. So this is our model, and if you go to data context.cs, we're asking it to generate our table name menus using this. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, that is it. It's very simple. Okay, all right. So this is working, and so this entire CRUD operation works using this. But we're gonna go a step ahead now and create a folder named interface. Okay, I'm sorry, you need to stop debugging in order to rename the folder name. Right click and add a new item. Select interface, and the name of our interface is normally like the name of our model, and repository. Okay, click on add. Alright, now let's right click and add another folder, repository. Right click and add a class. It's going to be menu repository. And alright, now let's go to our interface. Okay, so how this interface repository pattern works is that we're going to use dependency injection, which means inside interface we are just going to declare the name of our functions that we will be using in our repository or inside our controller, and those functions implementation will be inside repository. Here we only declare the name of the function. So when declaring the name of function, like get all menus, this is going to be the name of our function, right? But we also need the return type. So it's going to be the return type of all the menu items, like entire record will be list of menu or IEnumerable of menu, not menu restraint. Yes, it's going to be menus. So it's giving this red squiggly line. So click on here and click on, just hold your control button and press on dot. You're going to get, oh no, okay, so it's asking you for the name of model, okay, not the database table name. So it's going to be just the menu. So you hold your control button and press on dot, you're going to get the namespace option. So select that and that should fix it. Now we need to get menu by ID and pass ID. So our ID is not integer, it's GUID right now. So if you go to our menus.cs, it's GUID ID. Let's copy this and paste it for simplicity. And that's it. Okay, and the return type, let's not forget, will be just the menu because it's going to return just one record. Okay, now let's declare a function to delete and the intelligence helped us. Okay, now we're going to post a menu. So return type will be menu2, and the intelligence is absolutely correct. We're going to post a menu and the model name is menu and the data will be just a menu, okay, not an ID. It will be menu which will have food name, food type, and food course. And last but not the least will be update menu by ID. But when we update the menu, we will be requiring ID. So, and we will also require the body or food name, food type, and food course that a user passed through the form. So let's paste this and let's save it. That is all we need to do inside our interface. Now we're going to use these in our repository, and our repository will inherit from interface I menu repository. Okay, so this squiggly line, just click on this and hold on to your control and click on dot. So implement interface, so which means that if we click on this, it's going to implement the interfaces that we typed here. Get all menus, get menu by ID, get all menus, get menu by ID, delete menu by ID. All we need to do is just type the implementations. Okay, so let's just remove everything. Okay, now here, in order to delete menu by ID, we have an ID. So var menu, oh, I'm sorry, we need to use dependency injection. So as you can see, if you go to our data context, we are going to use db context, data context, to get the data from database. Okay, so go to your repository and here, or you know what, you can take help from your controller, automatically generated codes. This is the reason I generate, I'd like to do scaffolding. Let's copy this and let's paste it here inside our repository. This is exactly what we will be doing. And let's copy this, let's paste it, but this will not be having underscore. Okay, and let's go to our controller, let's copy this and let's paste it here. Let's save it. So in order to build connection with database, we're gonna use underscore context. So underscore context dot menu dot find. I'm gonna find, that's it. So this is going to find a record with this ID and assign it in menu, and we will be removing that. Okay, so underscore context dot menu dot remove, and we'll be removing this menu, and after removing it we need to make sure that we save changes. So underscore context, oh, okay, there is the intelligence. Now after saving the change that we made, that is remove thing, we need to return something because it's expecting a return, or we can do void. But you know what, whatever we deleted we just wanna see on our Swagger or Postman, so let's return menu. So the record that was deleted will be shown, that's all it means. Okay, so to get all the menus, we're gonna do var menus equals underscore context dot menus dot to list. And if you want to show menu in ascending order, you can do something like order by, we're going to order it by ID, and that's it. And let's return menus. Let's save it. Now get menu by ID. It's going to be exactly the same as this. Let's copy this and paste it here. So context menus, and it's going to find the ID, and the record with this ID will be assigned to menu, and we will return the same data record. Let's save it. In order to post the menu, we have to do underscore context dot menus. Okay, yeah, that's all. Underscore context dot save changes. And let's save it. And this should. Now let's work on our update menu by ID. So there is a very easy way to update menu by ID, but I'd like to show you how we used to do it initially. Okay, so first of all we need to get the record that needs to be updated. So underscore context dot menus dot find, and we're gonna pass an ID, and that record, the record with this ID will be assigned inside menu. And once it's assigned, we will be making changes inside this menu. Okay, so menu dot, okay, food name will be this, the new data that came through the form. Oh, menu updated, let's rename it, okay, to menu updated, because we are getting menu here also and we don't want to name same thing everywhere. Okay, so okay, let me explain it from the beginning. It's the ID that's being passed from the form and the body, like food name, food course, that's being passed. So it's going to go inside database named and go to the table menus and find an ID with that matches with this ID and assign it inside menu updated. Now that menu updated's food name, old, this will be the old data, will be renamed by the new data. Okay, menu dot food name type. Okay, now context dot save changes, and we will be returning oh, let's go, I made a typo here, and this is what we'll be returning. Okay, and let's save it. I guess that is it. Now we need to work on our controller. Let's delete everything, and instead of data context we will be using this menu repository. Okay, so menu repository underscore okay, let's copy this and paste it. Instead of underscore we're going to remove this and copy this and let's save it. That's all. Now the other thing you need to do is remove these. Let's copy this action result and okay, this is what I want. So let's copy this. Let's paste it. Let's remove everything. And I don't think we need this. Okay, so these functions, these will be API/menus. These will be the once API/menus will be hit, these will be the endpoints. Okay, and these endpoints will be calling these functions. So let's start working on, okay, var menus will be underscore menu repository, this one. Okay, and this one's going to calling, this one is calling this get all menus. Okay, repository dot, if you do get all menus, that is it. Okay, now all the menus is inside this, so we're going to return okay, and inside bracket we'll put menus, and that's all. Okay, now in get menu, get menu by ID, that's right, and going to pass ID. We are not going to pass this GUID. Okay, it just requires a variable name, not the data type. And turn okay menu. Let's save it. Okay, this one's update. And we will be passing ID and menu. Let's save it, and also let's make sure something. We're passing ID and then menu. Okay, let's go. So yep, ID and menu. And now let's return. And let's save it. And on post menu, yeah, we can't name the parameter and this variable the same. Okay. And we're going to pass an ID. And let's save it. And that should be it. Let's run this. I forgot to do something. We need to add. Let's just stop it, and inside our program.cs, somewhere below Swagger, let's paste this. So here we need to put the name of our repository, iRepository, which is menu, and here interface repository and just the repository. Let's save it, and hold on your control and dot. It's going to bring the namespaces, and let's save it, and let's try to run it again. Yep, we are getting the data or get. Let's see for the post. Let's add a new data, the third data. Let's do let's execute. So it is returning what we asked it to return. Now let's see if we can get the, let's copy this and let's click on try it out. Let's paste it. So the data we stored here should be B. We are actually getting the data. Okay. Now before, oh sure, let's do, so instead of B, let's rename it to let's see what happens. It shows it's edited, but we'll check that shortly. Okay, let's go all the way top and click on our get execute one more time. Okay, by mistake I edited the third one, and I'm not sure if it was able to post the data or not. Okay, let's add a fourth data and see. Execute. We are getting the response 200, and let's click on execute here, and yeah, we are actually getting the data. We're getting it all the way to the top because we have done order by according to the ID, and I used 0 here, so it happened to be on top. So let's delete this A record A, okay, which is going to be the second record. Let's copy this. Okay, click on this delete and try it out. And let's click on execute. Okay, the record A it can be seen. So we have record A and it has to be deleted once I click on execute. Yep, that's gone, so it's working. Thank you very much for watching. In my next video, I'll be working on React Redux Toolkit to consume this API data and work on our CRUD operation in the front end.